So now let's start. So how do we retrieve the data from a database in SQL? So firstly, similar to what we did just now, you have to connect to the database. So db equals to SQL like connect database.db. Next, you have to create a cursor object. So cur equals to db.cursor. Now what command do we need to execute? So now what we have to do is to select the data from users. So let me just say auto complete right here. So what this line does is select all from users. Asterisk from in SQL represents all. But for today, we don't want all the data. What we want today will only be the name, which is we only want name, which is a text data, and you do not want the primary key. So what we can do is that instead of selecting all from users, from this table users, you can select just name from users. It selects everything within the name thing. And so now the data will be stored inside the cursor object, and we have to retrieve the data from the cursor object. This is to force it. This is so that it can become a list that can be manipulated by us afterwards. So how do we do that? So what we have to do is that we're going to do this called data equals to cur.fetch all. So what does fetch all do? What it does is that it actually takes in all the data within the cursor object. It sort of fetches everything properly and make it into a list that can make it into a list or tuples that can be easily manipulated by us. Previously, the things would be stored inside cursor object and we wouldn't have a way to access it. So what we have to do is that we're going to use something called fetch all to retrieve all the data within cursor. And hence, data equals to cur.fetch all to take in all the data. And next, we'll be commit to the DB, which we don't need here, but let's just add it in. Why not? And close the DB. And so that's basically it for this. That's all you need to fetch the data. So you have to pass back the data to the front end as well. So we can just do data. So what we've actually done now is this is a new web page that I'll create later on. This is a new web page for me to output all the data that we have, the user's web page, the route, which will be created later on. So now we'll be creating the user's web page. We will now pass this data to the front end already. So we'll have to display all the data properly we have in the HTML or using HTML.